It's the next bike in our 40 to 400 series. This is a 20-inch Magna, pretty much just general BMX style bike. I picked this one up for $5 along with this 26-inch hyper bike. I did a similar bike, if not the exact same model, probably at the beginning when I started recording on Instagram and other social media outlets. I don't think I've done it here for YouTube, but that'll be the next bike. But for now, we're going to work on the 20-inch Magna. So the only real issue so far is the rear tire is fully deflated. I've already tested it. It will not hold air. The front tire is holding air, spinning decently. It's going to need a little bit of fresh grease on there, and I think the tire needs to be remounted. You can see it's kind of hopping a little. But overall, not too bad. Get it spun up here. The chain's rusty, so we'll take that off and put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. But other than just re-greasing the bearings and maybe the crank, pretty easy. So not a lot of profit here. I originally went for just the 26-inch bike, but I asked her when I was there and I said, hey, do you have any other bikes? And she said, actually I do, and I only had $5 on me. So I said, look, $5, you know, yes or no? And she said, oh, for sure. So probably could have got it a little cheaper, but it is what it is. Another bike to work on. So we'll start tearing it apart, put the components through the ultrasonic cleaner, put the new tube on, and then we'll wrap this one up. So try to get it all done in one video. Alright, so I got the bike fully stripped down, aside from the headset. I'm not going to do the headset because it feels good. I don't feel anything catching, so more than likely it's fine. If anything, I might just loosen this, lift it up a little, and just add a little bead of grease just to assist with it. But overall, really dirty, really dusty. I'm going to get in here and show this is just normal from what I can tell on most of these types of bikes. So while everything's going through the ultrasonic cleaner, I will wipe the bike down with a rag and then use like a soap type of a cleaner, degreaser. Show you here. This was the crank. I've already removed the pedals. The pedals, honestly, not really worth rebuilding, but what I'll do, see it's a little tough here, is I'll shoot some of the dry lubricant down in here and then spin it. That'll at least give it some more movement and longevity. Both tires are a little stiff, so I'm going to do a cone adjustment and add some grease there. And then coming over here to the actual components. So these were the main bearings. Still greasy, but definitely need to be cleaned. And then you can see the single speed chain. It's really just dirty, not so much rusty. I mean, there are some rust spots on it, but I think there's more life left in it. And then just the lock nuts and everything need to be cleaned up. So we'll throw all that in. We'll throw the kickstand in. And then in other videos, I don't think I've done it here on YouTube, but I've actually rebuilt these single speed hubs before. It's really not that hard. You just start from one side, pull everything apart, take all the grease off, and then put it back together with fresh grease. This one feels okay. It's not catching. The axle feels pretty good as well, so I don't think I'm going to mess with this one aside from just changing out the tire. So we'll put all that in, and then we'll start cleaning the bike. Alright, so the pieces are out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Pretty amazing what'll happen just in the evaporust here with the ultrasonic cleaner. Chain looks pretty good. Nuts, everything looks pretty good. So I ended up taking the front apart. I figured, you know what, if I'm going to take it down this level, I might as well just go all the way. So I've done that. These bearings here, this is from the headset. This had some rust on it as well. So coming along quite nicely. And I'm going to work on the bearings now on that front tire, and then also change out the tube on the rear. Alright, so the bike's coming back together nice. I put the headset back, re-greased the front axle here on this wheel. Looks pretty good. This got put back together, nice and smooth as well. So I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I ended up taking apart the actual single speed rear hub. So this is what it looks like inside. They are different. So this is the drive side. This is the non-drive side. And the way it works essentially is this this component here, the actual gear, I'm trying to think of what I would call this, but the shaft, I guess, that meshes back here with this component, and when you pedal forward, it disengages the brake shoes, and the brake shoes are here, really greasy, and that disengages that whole assembly and allows you to move forward. When you go backwards, it engages and pushes into this mechanism, it expands the brake shoes, and then those brake shoes hit the inside of the hub there, and that's what slows you down. So I'm going to get all this degreased, probably run that piece particularly through the ultrasonic cleaner, just get that rust off, and then we'll re-grease it and put it back together. All right, so I've cleaned the hub. This piece came out better. It's not great. I mean, I have to really let it soak, and I've already dedicated probably a little too much time to all of this. So I'm going to start re-greasing it. The whole thing, that's why I laid it out like this, is going to go back together. So each of the bearings is going to need grease. We're going to need to re-grease the spring here, and then also the inside of the hub. And then I also threw this through the ultrasonic cleaner. Came out looking out pretty nice too. So I'm going to start re-greasing it here. Probably have to adjust the camera angle to thoroughly show it, but kind of wish I had done a before and after comparison, but I mean, you could see it's going to be essentially as good as new in terms of just adding grease and getting it to where we need it to be. So I'm going to start from this side forward. So we're going to go here, and then we'll end up on this side of the wheel over here. So trying to show it as best as possible. Might not be able to, but I'm just going to start with each piece individually. Going to add grease here. This is for the smallest bearing, which will go in like this. My grease gun decides to act up. Actually, I think I have that backwards. There we go. I guess I could check the camera footage. But that is going to go in like this, and that feels pretty good to me. So okay, so we have that bearing set. Then we're going to add grease up here. I'm going to add a little, let me get the gun to work right. A little in between each one. Okay, that feels good. Apologize if the angle's not right. Okay, so that's gonna feel good. So I'm okay with that. Now what I'm gonna do is add grease inside the hub. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's like it's not sealing to allow me to push more through, so I'm probably gonna have to just repack the gun too. Oh. Okay, so I got that in there. Gonna add some grease in here in the spring. Okay. Now I need to put this in, and I typically just get the shoes up here as such, and then I'm just going to put it in. Of course, I'm struggling here because I'm trying to be mindful of the camera. Okay. And so those are in. I'm going to screw it in from the other side, so now it's holding. Okay. apologize again for the bad angle, if there is a bad angle. I'm gonna add grease now down here for this bearing. And this gun is gonna be the end of me. Okay, so now it's in grease. We're gonna put this through. There we go. And then now with it up, I'm going to start the cone. Okay, so the cone's on there. Just gonna move the grease around a bit. There's a little bit of play, so I'm gonna tighten down that cone. And then I'm gonna put the lock ring on now. And then we'll do our final adjustments with a cone wrench. But overall, it's moving way smoother. So we'll go forward, it locks up, and then in reverse, the brakes are hitting, and then it disengages. Axle's moving freely. So we just need to tighten that up. So let's see if this is the size, which it is. And let me check for play. Okay, it's about where I want it. Alright, no movement, feels good. So we're rebuilt. Let's get it back on the bike and we'll put the chain and do some final touches and then we'll be done. All right, so the bike's done. Put the chain and the rear wheel back on. Looks really nice. I mean, practically looks brand new. You'd have to really get up close to see that it isn't. The bike looks really clean. Everything's moving nice and smoothly. So if you're doing this for profit, I would say the amount of work I just put into it isn't gonna be worth your time. To me, it's a passion project. I really like helping other people out, bringing stuff back to life. So, you know, even in this case, it's probably not going to be more than a $25, $30 bike if I'm lucky. I think it's in really good condition. So if I hold out, I might be able to get somebody to pay that. But if not, some kid will get a nice bike for cheap. It'll last them a long time. The parents won't have to worry about it. And you know, that to me is what it's really all about, is recycling a bike, getting another kid to be out there and having fun, building a childhood. So I'm gonna see if I can ride this for a test ride. We'll see how that goes. If not, then we'll just run through the cost breakdown here and estimated profit. All right, so I did a test ride. I probably looked really awkward doing it, but it rides well overall. I had to make one small adjustment to the front cone. The wheel was still a little too loose, so I adjusted that, but the bike looks great overall. It's too sunny in my normal location to take pictures, but you can see it looks really nice. The armor all on the tires, everything makes it pop. So we'll run through the numbers, and then probably, I don't know, tonight or maybe sometime during the week, we'll work on this hyper bike. And I gotta calculate where we are in this entire process. I mean, we're pretty close. The folding bike, which is kind of hidden back there, I posted it for 200. I've had a couple people hit me up on it. So hopefully somebody will pull the trigger here before too long. But let's run through the numbers on this one. All right, so just like all the other kids' bikes, there's really not a lot of profit to be made here. The bike was $5. Its portion of the gas was about $2. We had to put a new tube, a master link, and then just the miscellaneous grease. So we spent $8 on the parts. So we're in it for a total of 15. We're gonna try and get 25 to 30 for it, which means we'd get a profit of 10 to 15. Again, not a lot, definitely more of a passion project at this point, but so like I was saying, passion project, definitely like putting these bikes back out there. So profit per hour is pretty low. You know, had I got it for free, we'd have a little more profit there, but honestly, this one and then the mountain bike behind it, they'll be fun to work on. So hopefully somebody gets some good use out of it, and we'll start the next one soon.